Hello, it's CTO of the Theory Channel. This is my first ever sports theory, and today we are going to cover an NFL theory. So if you don't watch football, I don't recommend you watching this, but stay tuned for my other videos. Here's the question. What would have happened if the Rams had passed on Todd Gurley in the 2015 NFL Draft, and how could that lead to the Carolina Panthers winning Super Bowl 50? But before I start, a warning. This might get confusing and intense, but, well, you know. Here's a fun fact. Did you know Todd Gurley majored in business in college? I'm sure he's a better football player than the businessman he would have been. But without further ado, let's get into this. We now know that Todd Gurley was picked by the then St. Louis Rams with the 10th overall selection of the 2015 NFL Draft. But what if he wasn't? Remember, most of the experts had St. Louis picking an offensive lineman in their mock drafts. So if everything went as planned for the first 9 picks, Winston, Mariota, Fowler, Cooper, Sheriff, Williams, White, Beasley, and Flowers, the Rams would have still had the opportunity to draft an offensive lineman that they had heavily scouted before the draft, Andres Pete, who hasn't really done much for the New Orleans Saints, but that's besides the point. So let's say the Rams drafted Pete with the 10th pick and not Gurley. Who does Gurley fall to? The lovable Browns, of course, at number 12. Todd heads to Cleveland to make an ultimate tandem with Josh McCown? Anyway, the NFL draft is still going on. So if the Browns draft Gurley, that means Danny Shelton is left available. This creates a ripple effect. The Saints decide to draft Shelton because of their disastrous defense, and Shelton's happy about that because he just looks like he could go for some Louisiana barbecue, doesn't he? And this means that the 49ers don't trade away their 15th pick to the Chargers. They keep it to select Kevin Johnson. Now, this is where things get dramatical. The Texans decide to go and get Marcus Peters, yes, Pro Bowl cornerback Marcus Peters, because they think, he's not Kevin Johnson, but he'll do. And finally, all is right again when the Chargers pick Paxton Lynch with, what? Oh, right. Sorry, Paxton. I forgot you were in the 2016 draft. Go back to Memphis. I meant Melvin Gordon from Wisconsin. Okay, enough draft talk. Let's get on the field. All of these draft shakeups cause 4 main things to happen. Cleveland to do better, Houston to do better, St. Louis to do worse, and Kansas City to do worse. Now, these 4 scenarios may not seem like enough to throw the whole playoff picture off, but believe me, they do. It's week 1 of the 2015 regular season, and most things go as usual, except when Alex Smith is going through a potential game-winning drive against the Texans. He doesn't find one of his receivers or Travis Kelce in the end zone. Instead, he finds none other than Marcus Peters, who takes it all the way back to Arrowhead Stadium, which could have been his home field. Remember, the Chiefs beat the Texans in their first game, but then lost their next 5, only to win their next 10. Really, that must have been a weird year for you Chiefs fans. Anyway, because Marcus Peters won the game for the Houston Texans, the Chiefs lose their first 6 games and never really get out of their slump. They even lose to Cleveland thanks to the 100-yard rushing game from, yes, Todd Gurley. The Texans, on the other hand, have a better season and end up winning games against the Chiefs and 1 more against the Tennessee Titans. And just like Houston, Cleveland does a lot better too because of Gurley and even end up beating the Broncos. So with all of this in play, the end result is the Chiefs going 5-11, the Texans going 10-6, and the Browns going 6-10. This is now what the playoff picture looks like. As you can see, Kansas City's slump means the Jets end up making the playoffs. Here, they will play Cincinnati in the wild card round. And Andy Dalton, having never won a playoff game, keeps it that way because he gets sacked 6 times by that formidable Jets defensive front. The Jets win 24-10. In the other AFC wildcard matchup, the Texans are hosting the Steelers, and the Texans win thanks to 2 picks from Marcus Peters and 2 touchdowns from DeAndre Hopkins. So we move on to the divisional round. Jets, Patriots, Jets, Patriots, Jets, Patriots. Yeah, we all know that the Jets would find a way to screw this up somehow. You know, a Fitz interception, Buster Screen drawing a pass interference penalty on the goal line, or maybe Sheldon Richardson forgot that he was playing that day and was riding the Ferris wheel at Coney Island. So the Patriots advance, and on the other side of the country, we have the Texans at the Broncos, otherwise known as the Brock Osweiler Bowl. This one goes into OT, all tied up at 17, and we could have the first ever playoff tie. Brendan McManus and Nick Novak each put up field goals on their team's opening OT drives, and then Nick Novak of the Texans has a chance to win his team a trip to the AFC Conference Championships on a 56-yard field goal in high altitude and makes it. Meanwhile, Brock Osweiler is like a kid who's thinking about what he wants to be when he grows up. Maybe I can play for that team someday. Okay, so the AFC comes down to the Pats and the Texans, and I wish I could give Houston a Super Bowl ticket, but sadly, I just see New England winning because of their high-powered offense, tough defense, accurate special teams. The list goes on and on. So all is the same on the NFC side of things, and Carolina will play New England in what looks like an amazing Super Bowl 50. And you already know what's going to happen since I said it in the intro, so I'll just give you the box score / recap. So the St. Louis Rams end up ultimately deciding some of the 2015 season with their passing up of Todd Gurley in the draft. Well, on the bright side, maybe this will give the Los Angeles Rams a confidence booster this season, because now they know that they actually played a big part in something. But they are still the Rams, and the Browns are still the Browns, and don't even get me started on the Jets. A part 2 to this video might be coming out sometime later on, because I still want to get into how all of this would have affected the 2016 season. Please subscribe so that you know when I post other videos, and comment to let me know your thoughts on this video and suggestions you might have. Also, you can check out my Twitter by clicking right here. So, until next time, it's CTO of the Theory Channel. Thanks.